Hello. In this video, I will go over how I would level a Blade Blast of Unloading Saboteur. Fair warning, it's not gonna be Blade Blast of Unloading until much later, but where the hell are you getting the Transfigured gem from the start anyways? The start is any, you kill Hillock. For the first half of Act 1, you're gonna be using the reward gem from Hillock, the Cobra Lash, supported with chance to poison that you get from the get-go and volley that you get as a reward from killing Hailrake. As you're leveling, you're gonna be grabbing some fizz plus poison damage. As soon as you hit the submerged passage, go back in order to grab yourself Frostbling and Shield Charge. Also make sure to grab yourself a shield that you're gonna be using for this shield charge. The ideal is the Freeling Shield with green, and red socket for shield charge, faster attacks and momentum. This skill is gonna be sticking in you all the way through the campaign and into the maps, so be respectful to it. As you are making your way through the submerged passage, make sure to not skip the optional side area, the Flooded Depths. Not only does it give a skill point, it also contains an essence, which will be essential for a weapon craft later down the line. And when I mean later, it's very soon down the line. If at this point you see some packs of magic mobs, you can go out of the way to kill them, they give a lot of XP at this point. After killing Dweller of the Deep, pick up his essence, and take the boat to the ledge. After you find a waypoint in the ledge, you're gonna be crafting, in quotes, your weapon. Pick up a level 7 claw from Tarkly and just slam it with the essence that you have just picked up. Voila, have yourself a weapon. If you hide roll enough, the rest of the act will be a breeze. So, for the most part, the rest of the Act 1 you can just course through it. The next challenge ahead us is Brutus. Take a note that for single target, I unequip the Greater Wallet from my Viper, no, not the Viper Strike, from my Cobra Lash, because at this point I felt like I had mana problems. Portal back to town after killing Brutus and start looking at Vans. You're looking for a Goat Horn. It's not immediately useful for us, but we have one more swap in Act 1. And if you hoard enough Goat Horns, chances are you will be able to get yourself a good weapon for this swap. Said swap is gonna happen as soon as you reach Caverna Zorath. Go back to town and grab yourself 2 Kinetic Fusilades, as well as two multiple projectile supports. As for the ones that you have hopefully been hoarding, either slam one with an essence that you have happened to found like me, or just transmute Oak until you see some flat damage. This particular one wasn't too good, but the damage was still fine. From now on, the gameplay becomes really good. Why 2 Kinetic Fusilades? Well, you see, if you keep casting only one of them, it's gonna be perpetually sustained in the air. But if you cast one and then switch to the other, you will be able to grab yourself more Kinetic Fusilade charges, while still charging another one. This is the tech that we use to make our gameplay very smooth. You're able to move around and constantly fire Kinetic Fusilade charges. The damage of the skill is really great, and it's getting only better next patch. As you enter the forest encampment, head to the top. At this point you are looking for all the possible flat damage upgrades, iron rings and affixes on gloves, upgraded ones with a lot of flat damage to attacks, not spells. Kinetic Fusilade is an attack. Right now you're gonna be clearing the whole top part of Act 2 while looking for upgrades. Just identify all the ones you see on the ground, all the gloves, and all the iron rings. If you happen to have some extra transmutes, you may as well use them on wide basis. At this point we are aiming for the tree that looks something like this. Grab physical nodes at the bottom and head up to the cluster wand at the top. This tree mostly provides damage. After dealing with the Crete, Creightlin, and the Chamber of Sins, you're gonna be able to get yourself some heralds. The heralds we're gonna be choosing is Herald of Ice and Herald of Thunder for the flat damage, because it is quite hard to scale the Kinetic Fusilade otherwise, and those gems also provide some good clear. At this point, we're practically done with Act 2. There are no more changes to the build. Putting in the heralds was the last of them. If you happen to luck into the 4-link, you can put your Kinetic Fusilade and link them with another support, or two, if maybe you have 2 4-links. The good support for this is gonna be added cold damage that you can buy in Act 1. Here you can see the boss damage. It is pretty respectable at this point. The Weaver took a hit. After dealing with the rest of the F2, head straight towards the Wall over Soul and into the Act 3. Some great things await us in 3. Handle the Piety, spec some 1 damage, go for the tunnels. There are no drastic changes to the build up until killing Gravicious, which is a turning point that enables a lot of the builds to well function. Killing Gravicious is gonna give us access to both Bladefall and Spellslinger, which are essential components of our build. So let's head on to this guy. Nice, he's dead. It is at this point when I'm able to pick up Bladefall and Spellslinger gems and start leveling them. It is also at this point where I start thinking about another weapon. Our caster weapon is completely unacceptable. I mean, our attack-based weapon is completely unacceptable. Ideally, we have a plus level to Fizz, but it's quite hard to get. So percent spell damage and spell crit is gonna do. I kill Piety with the Kinetic Fusilade setup before finally swapping to Spellslinger Bladefall. This is what my setup looked like at this point. Blade Blast linked to crit supports and Bladefall linked to Spellslinger Spell Cascade. To trigger them, I was using Power Siphon. Now, I want to go out of my way and say that I have made a couple of mistakes that cost me a lot of time this run. First of all, I swapped too early, and you can see so in my ability to kill Izaro. Although I powered through, it was very painful for 2 reasons. First reason being mana. In my PoB, I have made sure to include a version that uses Eldritch Battery at this point. Before Eldritch Battery, and like 150 AS, you shouldn't be swapping to Spellslinger setup. It's gonna just completely drain your mana. Ideally, you finish your normal lap with the KF setup. Secondly, Power Siphon is a very awkward skill to use because of its mechanics. It's only when used with Spellslinger, the spells are fired around a random enemy targets and it targets a lot, resulting in semi-random targeting, which is very bad when you have bad damage and very good when you have good damage. So I swapped back to Fusilade just for triggering Bladefall. In hindsight, I should have done Frenzy. It is a very good spell that's gonna generate some Frenzy charges along the way, which I have done later down the line. And the build ended up using both Frenzy and Power Siphon. Power Siphon for clear, and Frenzy for single target, just for the triggering purposes, and this way I have both power and Frenzy charges. At this point your tree should look something like this. Eldritch Battery, drop the attack wand wheel, grab the leftmost wheel with wand Spellslinger reservation, and just a bunch of fizz damage. This is not how my tree looked like, but the build at this point did start feeling pretty good. As you can see, I'm triggering Bladefall from the Power Siphon. I'm always max charges. And because this is triggered, the trigger bots from Sabo actually provide us with double triggers. Most of the time, this Bladefall skill is enough for clear. But we're also using Blade Blast. Blade Blast I almost exclusively use on bosses. The sequence is as follows. You spam a lot of blades from Bladefall. I think one cast spawns 5 blades, times 3 from Spell Cascade, times 2 from Trigger Bots, so one cast spawns about 30 blades, and then on bosses you detonate them with Blade Blast. The damage is pretty good, and I saw variations where you would Spellslinger Blade Blast as well, but I don't like it because I just feel the loss of efficiency. Like, you don't need to cast it every time, every cast of Blade Blast. And the mana cost for such a endeavor is just tremendous. I couldn't imagine getting gear that would support that. The build at this point feels sort of like an auto bomber. You shield charge around and your Power Siphon Bladefall just kills everything. The bossing is quite alright. Same thing, Power Siphon, albeit this should have been Frenzy, and just detonate a bunch of blades. If the Blade Blast crits, the boss is dead. The pleasant bonus, or both a downside, the damage scales heavily with the boss hitbox. For example, this here Piety has small hitbox, so the damage is not that good. But in a second you're gonna see footage of me killing Malachi, which has a ginormous hitbox, and holy shit, the damage was... I was genuinely surprised. This pretty much is the setup all the way through the acts and up into the game, late game. You may get some more links, just progress your gear normally, upgrade your wands, upgrade your gear, make sure to grab yourself evasion energy shield gear, and you're gonna be stellar. This sort of gameplay provides a lot of leeway because you're always killing mobs and you're always over leveled or on level with the zone. Now, keep in mind, I'm not a speedrunner, I'm just a casual player. I put a timer there just to be sort of keep myself accountable and not show yourself a build that gets completely trashed by the campaign. I know this sort of thing is like 3 hours sucked life is abysmal for today speedrunning standards. But hey, I'm just a dude. This run ends at Act 5. I have taken this character all the way up to Act 9 and it was smooth sailing all the way through. Just doing some marginal upgrades to the gear, capping my resistances. The vision is you would be able to transition from this to the Blade Blast of Unloading character, which has been massively buffed this patch. All I know is that if I ever were to level up a Blade Blast of Unloading character again, this is the leveling path I'm taking. This can be done in like 2 hours probably, if you are optimal about it, and I like it a lot. It is way better than a Peacock or Armageddon brand. All of them have very nasty respecs, half the way down the middle. And this one, no, you should be able to slot the Blade Blast of Unloading once you get it straight in. All the scaling vectors are exactly the same. You are playing Saboteur, not an Assassin, so there will be no weird ascendancy respecs that can be quite costly at the start. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if somebody picks up this build and levels through it with the campaign. And well, I will let you know if I decide on leveling in 3.29 with it. Before I call it, I would like to overview the POB. This POB includes loadouts all the way from Act 1 to Act 6 plus. Act 1 is your Viper, not the Viper Strike, the Cobra Lash leveling, Act 1 Part 2, where you swap to Kinetic Fusilade, Act 2 where you continue scaling Kinetic Fusilade, Act 3 before Spellslinger, Act 3 Spellslinger Swap, Act 4, and Act 5. Every loadout has skill gems that you're gonna be following, as well as items that I have put in. They are just recommendations. Of course, you should be filling all the slots, but for example, in Act 1, you're looking for added flattened gloves and flat damage rings. In Act 2, you are very much doing the same thing. Some resistances, flat damage and rings, and flat damage wand. This is how you should treat it. Act 3, no difference here, and when you swap to Spellslinger, suddenly your wand is spell damage, spell crit, and well, those rings are outdated. This is my first leveling POB. Well, please don't be too harsh, but still, if there are room for improvement, you are welcome to point me to it.